Good morning. Magandang umaga po sa inyong lahat. Welcome to the Division webinar on development of contextualized and localized modules under Project CLAID, learning, or contextualized and localized activities intended for distance learning. We will be your facilitators. I am JD Mercado.
Hello, Sir JD. Good morning. Good morning. Magandang buhay at mabuhay, lalo na po ang ating mga participants here in the division of Mandaluyong. Of course, with us is Sir JD, the techno brain and the techno wizard of our division for all the communications here in our division. Because today, we're in YouTube Live. I'm Sir Jet, one of your hosts.
All right.
Sir
So
JD?
before we start our part one, which is the opening program, let's have an opening prayer and the national anthem.
Using output. Mga kababayan, ang pambansang awit ng Pilipinas.
Alright, so marami pong salamat. So again, magandang umaga, good morning po sa inyong lahat. Welcome to the Division webinar on development of contextualized and localized modules under Project CLAID Learning, or the contextualized and localized activities intended for distance learning. Dr. Jet, batiin mo naman ang ating mga participants na nasa audience. We have 741 viewers right now. And batiin mo ang ating mga students at ang mga teachers.
Muli, magandang umaga sa inyong lahat. Welcome po sa ating webinar ngayon. At sana ay makasama namin kayo hanggang mamaya. Biruin mo yan, Sir JD, we're around at least 741. Mamaya, 1,000 na yan. And yes. Sir JD, thank you for always being with us for all the technical assistance.
All right.
This webinar made as possible.
Yes. So as we can see, no, ang daming nagko-comment, nag-good morning sa atin mula sa audience at sinasabi nila ang kanilang pangalan at ang kanilang eskwelahan. So welcome po sa inyong lahat at sa mga school heads po na nagko-comment din at nag-good morning po na nandyan sa ating audience. Maraming salamat for being with us. Okay? So ipakilala mo na, Sir Jet, ang magbibigay sa atin ng opening remarks.
Okay, and to formally start our webinar, I present to you, of course, the Gemstone Mind, the author, and the guru of the CID. Ladies and gentlemen, the beautiful and intelligent Dr. Aline Gahuman Mendoza for her opening remarks. Ma'am?
Morning, Ma'am Aline.
Thank you. Good morning. Thank you, Sir Jet, for the generous introduction. Of course, Sir JD, thank you so much. Of course, to our SDO family, good morning. Magandang buhay. Hope you are all safe, your family, and everyone in this session webinar. First of all, I would like to greet our very dynamic, our newly promoted Assistant Schools Division Superintendent, our very own officer in charge, Office of the Schools Division Superintendent, Dr. Romela M. Cruz. Andiyan na ba si ma'am? Of course, to our powerhouse, our education program supervisors and the public schools district supervisors. For this particular webinar, we have our headed by our LR MDS supervisors. Would like to present to you Dr. Ruby E. Baniged. Where is Ma'am Ruby? Say hi to our participants. Yes. Walang sound si Ma'am Ruby. Of course, I would like also to acknowledge our supervisors who will be in charge of the different learning areas. Start with the kindergarten. We have Miss Jocelyn Balane. Say hi, Ma'am Josie. Ma'am Jo, andiyan ka ba? Wala kayong sound. Okay. For the Filipino group, we have Mr. Werlito Batinga. Andiyan ba sila? Sir Werlito? Okay. For the mathematics group, headed by our supervisor, Mr. Restituto Rodelas. Sir Resti?
Ay, hello po, good
Say
morning.
hi. Ayun.
Hello, good
Nakita
morning po
din.
sa lahat ng ating mga viewers, sa mga school heads, na very supportive sa mga teachers, most especially sa mga math teachers. Good morning po sa inyong lahat.
Yes, thank you, Sir Resti. For the science group, supervisor, Ms. Roxanne Villanueva.
Hello, good morning to
Ma'am Rox?
everyone. Good morning po,
Say hi
ma'am.
to your group.
Yes, good morning po, ma'am, and good morning to all science teachers, sa mga school heads po natin na nanonood po ngayon. Magandang umaga po sa inyong lahat.
Yes.
And welcome
Thank
to our
you.
webinar.
Thank you, Ma'am Rox. For Araling Panlipunan, Supervisor, Mr. Cesar Nachor. Say hi to your
Hello,
group.
hello po, magandang umaga, lalo-lalo na sa mga Araling Panlipunan teachers, mga school heads, school officials. Good morning po, mabuhay ang Pilipinas.
Yes. Thank you, Sir Nachor. Of course, to our MAPE, Music and Arts, PE and Health, and Concurrent Education Program Supervisor for SGOD, Sir Rex A. Ado. Are you around, sir? Andiyan na ba si Sir Rex? Okay. Let's now proceed to for the newly designated OIC for edukasyon sa pagpapakatao and TLE, Technology and Livelihood Education, Ma'am Marife Arias. Ma'am Marife, are you there? So, hindi makapasok. Let's have our OIC, Edukasyon sa Pagpapakatao, this time, very new, designated, and also still our AL supervisor, Ma'am Jovi Balbuena. Ma'am Jovi, say hi, nasa biyahe ka na. Ay, ando na. Okay, I wonder what happened to your... Sige. Sir JD, may problem ata sa speaker. Of course, I would like to enumerate our very supportive. Ayan, andyan na si Ma'am Fe. Say hi to your group. Walang sound, ma'am. Walang sound. You're mute. Okay. So that's Mamfe for the EPP and TLE group. Of course, for the English supervisor, Mr. Ramon Bilardo Jr. Say hi to your group, sir.
Amazing.
No sound, no sound.
Excuse me. Hello.
Yes, sir. Sige. Hi.
Okay. Hi, everybody. Good morning. I'm very glad to see all of you, to all the school heads, to all SDO personnel, especially to my teachers of English. Welcome and nice to see you again. Mabuhay tayong lahat.
Yes, thank you, sir. Sir Rambel. Of course, I would like to enumerate our PSSS around who have been very supportive to our project. Mr. or Dr. Jet Galicanao. Of course, that's our MC today. Dr. Elizabeth Gloriana, Ma'am Jocelyn Miguel, Mrs. Jean Castrense, Mr. Edgar Belmonte, Dr. Darwin Bonifacio, and of course, our uh, the very own, the maker of our LCP presentation, Mr. Anthony Augustus Garcia, and our EPSA, Mr. Wilfredo Diaz and Ms. Mylene Ramirez. So in short, these are our CID family. And of course, I would like to acknowledge all our dear school heads who have been here or been supporting the CID, the SDO family or programs, and would like to thank you for your support. Your presence is so important to all of us. Our frontliner, of course, our teachers, our elite group, experts, and finally selected Special Task Force for SDO Mandaluyong for this division initiative, the division webinar on development of contextualized and localized modules that we call it Project CLAID Learning, which means contextualized, localized activities intended for distance learning or CLAID learning. So, ladies and gentlemen, good morning and welcome to our webinar. This Project Glide Learning is one of the strategic responses of the Schools Division Office of Mandaluyong to COVID-19 pandemic and this new normal educational system. This caters to the needs of Mandaluyong learners in terms of materials, printed and digital copies, to be part of the Mandaluyong or Mandunong kits, which we call it as the packets of learners to be distributed to all our learners in Mandaluyong come August of this year. Ito po kasing gagamitin nila sa darating na pasukan ng lahat ng mga estudyante natin sa Mandaluyong. Kabahagi ito sa magiging kit nila na tatawagin na nating Mandunong kit. Itong CLAID learnings natin ay isang module na initiated ng Division Office na develop natin yung ating mga teams na developer and validated by our experts in our division. So, kasama din dito sa Mandunong Kit, yung what's list na gagawin natin soon. Pagkatapos itong webinar, gagawa tayo ng para siyang activity sheets ng list of assignment and tasks, weekly tasks of the learners na i-develop ng bawat teachers na kabahagi din sa Mandunong Kit. Kasama ito ang ating modules na gagawin for the 2 months from June to July. Okay. The overall objective of this project is to provide quality and relevant learning resources to Mandaluyong learners to be utilized as one of the tools for the remote flexible teaching learning scheme of the Department of Education for school year 2020 and 2021. Specifically, the objective of this training is to capacitate identified division writers and developers on the standards, guidelines, and criteria in writing learning activities appropriate for remote learning approach or distance learning. This also aims to heighten teachers' creativity in crafting structured learning activities which are suitable for distance learning modality that should be embedded these 5 C's. Yung limang C's stands for character, communication, collaboration, creativity, and critical thinking skills in every module. This project also aims to align our developed materials with the new MELC, or the most essential learning competences provided by the department. And finally, it aims to provide opportunities for teachers to learn from best practices of fellow educators through online training like this and presentation later, like represent natin mga supervisors, and the validation process. So all these skills will be needed to be able for us to produce this CLAID learning for our learners. All Mandaluyong, all Mandunong, may bago tayong term ngayon sa kanila based on our learning continuity plan. Mandunong stands for our Mandaluyong learners, both who can afford and cannot afford luxury of gadgets and connectivity and internet will be given these Mandunong kits, lahat po ng learners natin. Probably in July, the distribution will commence. Thus, there is an urgency to finish this project CLAID learning earlier, since we will be producing about 35 million pages for this project for first quarter. So the bulk of reproduction and the distribution process will be a very great challenge for all of us. So aside from the development and the validation, we are glad that our city mayor shouldered the printing of this material amounting to about 10 million for the reproduction for first quarter alone. We know the tasks that are assigned to you, our dear teachers, being the division learner, learning resource developer, and LR quality assurers are not easy, like walking the park. Thus, this orientation will give you the competence and confidence to produce well-designed learning materials for our Mandunong. So please be assured that the SDO Mandaluyong, with our school heads, will be working closely to you or with you. Another challenge in this project is time. Time is of essence. June to July, very soon, July na. Our timeline of this project will a very tight timeline. Please understand, please bear with us. Alongside the mass training for teachers on learning delivery modalities will be happening in July. So double time tayo, please help us. Mahirap pero alam ko kayang-kaya natin. So the division will be ready to help you, to support you, and of course our school heads are there to help support all our endeavors here. This I would like to appeal to all our teachers, part of this project CLAID learning, our dear school heads and learning area supervisors. Let us just develop quality learning resources, but also timely delivery of these materials or learners come August. Let's assure that on the first quarter, the school year, of all our Mandunong kits are delivered at the doorsteps of our learners. Complete. Kaya po ba natin to? Yes, kayang-kaya. I will borrow the quote of Helen Keller. Alone we can do so little. Together we can do so much. Dito sa Mandaluyong, SDO Mandaluyong, kayang-kaya kasi sama-sama tayong lahat. Kaya natin pagtagumpayan ang krisis na ito brought about this pandemic. Tuloy edukasyon sa Mandaluyong because we have you to make it happen. Thank you, and again, welcome to this orientation.
All right. So thank you so much, Ma'am Alim, for that very inspirational message. Okay. So Sir Jet, may I introduce our next speaker?
Yes.
But before I
Take it
introduce,
away, sir.
natin, nagbilang anghel ka. We have now, we have 1,144 viewers, almost half of the teachers population ng the division of Mandaluyong. So, welcome po sa
Wow.
inyong magandang umaga po sa inyong lahat. Nakikita ko po yung mga school head. Alright? Ayan. So, kanina...
That's a good news. Sir JD. It's really good news. They're all interested in to learn and to guide them in module writing. Sir, JD.
Alright. Ayan. So kanina, inintroduce ni Ma'am Ali ng mga supervisors at ngayon, gusto ko lang ipasok ulit si Sir Rex Ado dahil he just came in. Sir Rex, can you show yourself? And say
Hello.
Ate Family. Hi, Sir
Oh,
Rex.
nakamas si Sir.
Long hair ako, long hair.
Alright. Say good morning to your Mate family, sir.
Hello, Mapi family. You know, I love you. Mapimilya, nandiyan kayo lahat. I know, nag-usap tayo kahapon. So I'm sure you are 100% ready and 100% here watching the CLAID presentation. Thank you.
Alright. Ayan. So, Sir Jet, mamaya papasok na rin si Sir Lito para makita siya ng kanyang Filipino family. Alright?
Yes.
And to continue, we would like to ask for an inspirational message from our newly appointed Assistant Schools Division Superintendent and still the officer in charge of the Office of the Schools Division Superintendent of the Division of Mandaluyong. Ladies and gentlemen, our Superintendent, Dr. Romela Macalipay Cruz.
Thank you very much, JD and Jet Calcanao. Salamat. A wonderful day to all of you, Ma'am Aline Mendoza, to our district and division supervisors, school heads, and to all teachers of Mandaluyong City. Kumusta po kayo? Lagi ko pong dasal na kayo po ay COVID-free, maganda po ang inyong kalusugan, maayos po ang inyong pamilya, at sa kung ano man po ang meron kayo, kayo po ay masaya, positibo, sabay sasabihin, kaya natin to kung sama-sama. Dito sa Mandaluyong, tayo ay gawa, hindi salita. Whatever we do, we have anchored it on the supremacy of life over anything else. Bawat isa po sa inyo ay napakahalaga. Bawat isa po sa inyo ay kailangan ng ating division para maglingkod sa ating mga bata. Again, this morning, let us be thankful. We are still alive. Let us thank God because we are still alive and in good shape, both heart and mind, capable to make a difference in the lives of our learners during this pandemic era. Engaging yourself in a voluminous writing of module is a concrete evidence of making a difference, touching lives and expressing a genuine love to your learners who have nothing to use in August 24, 2020, the virtual opening of our schools. You know, ladies and gentlemen, with the plethora of challenges that we're now facing in this new normal, I want everyone to bring out the heroic spirit in you. Supervisors, chief, school heads, including myself, let us bring out the heroic spirit within us. We are now in battle. Invisible chaos might occur anytime in our academic milieu. We will fight and triumph against all odds. Be a hero. Make sacrifices for this writing journey as writers, validators, motivators, pushers. Think of the innocent eyes of our learners staring at us, saying, we have no access to digital learning. Spare your mercy. Produce modules for us. Ladies and gentlemen, while health workers as frontliners have been enthroned in the pedestal of heroism as they put their lives at risk to serve others, teachers like you could ever be heroes as you give your whole self in exploring and producing relevant and useful learning materials. Susulong ang edukasyon sa Mandaluyong despite of the COVID-19 pandemic with your obra maestra, a masterpiece, contextualized and localized module for Batang Mandunong, walang maiiwan, kabahagi ng bilang. To all of you, ladies and gentlemen, I am appealing, be with us in this writing journey for the Batang Mandaleño. Give your best shots. Thank you very much to all. Mag-iingat po kayo at lagi niyo pong sabihin na tayo pong lahat ay nasa ating posisyon to make a difference. Panahon na po para ipakita natin na dito sa Mandaluyong, kakayang-kaya po natin kung sama-sama. Inaasahan ko po ang kooperasyon ng bawat isa. Be inspired with the positive values like unity, synergy, and harmony. Congratulations to all CID people, Mamalin, District and Division Supervisors. Thank you very much to all. Thank you very much, Ma'am Emma, the SGOD. Thank you very much, School Head. Marami pong salamat sa hanay ng mga guro na nagmamahal sa mga batang Mandaleño. Magandang umaga po. Again, congratulations to all. I salute everyone. Thank you.
Maraming salamat po, Dr. Romela M. Cruz, for that inspirational message. Okay, Sir Jet. So ayan, umakit na naman ng ating viewers, 1,231 viewers. Yes. So let's get it going. So let's proceed with the session proper. So Dr. Jet, can you introduce our first speaker?
Okay, hindi na natin patatagalin pa. Our first speaker will discuss on LR development and page design because this is really her field of specialization. She started her career in 1999 at the renowned Mandaluyong Elementary School. She's a writer, a speaker, and now the education program supervisor of SDO Mandaluyong for Learning Resource Management System. Ladies and gentlemen, Dr. Ruby E. Banique. Ma'am?
Good morning, Ma'am Ruby.
Good morning. Thank you, Sir Jet and Sir JD, for that kind introduction. Good morning, viewers. Kumusta po kayong lahat? All right, so let us start. But before that, let me first thank God for this opportunity to gather together and for keeping us safe and healthy. Second, I would like to extend my heartfelt thanks to our SDO officials headed by OIC SDS Dr. Romela M. Cruz, our CID Chief Dr. Aline G. Mendoza, Ma'am Emma G. Arubio, our SGOD Chief, and for the technical consultants, our CID officials composed of EPSSS and PSDSS, Librarian 2, Mr. Kamangig, and for the Katame, Mr. Crispin Mexica. Thank you for making this project possible because of our collaborative effort. Okay, so let us start now my presentation. All right. In accordance to DepEd's Basic Education Learning Continuity Plan, and to ensure the provision of quality, appropriate, accessible learning resources, this webinar, dubbed as Development of Contextualized and Localized Modules Aligned with the Most Essential Competencies, under Project CLAID Learning, which stands for Contextualized and Localized Activities Intended for Distance Learning. This is the collaborative efforts of SDO Mandaluyong and the local government unit, City of Mandaluyong. The purpose of this session are, first, to gain knowledge and understanding on learning resource development and quality assurance process. Second, develop modules aligned. Okay, wait lang. So I will share my screen first, sorry. Okay. Okay, so this is our webinar on development of contextualized and localized modules aligned with the most essential competencies. Under Project CLAID Learning, contextualized and localized activities intended for distance learning. The purpose of this session are, first, to gain knowledge and understanding on learning resource development and quality assurance process. Second, develop modules aligned with the most essential learning competencies, or MELCS, embedded with 5 Cs and in conformance to LR standards. And of course, to present the timeline for the completion of the project so that we will be guided. Okay, Project Deal and Share is the flagship program of SDO Mandaluyong. Under this project, we had 2 relevant projects. These are Project CLAID and ITOP. Project CLAID intends to develop modules for distance learning, while ITOP, it is the integration of technology for optimum performance. It intends to produce ebook or some digital instructional materials. This is the framework of the Project CLAID. It utilizes the input process output model, where the inputs are the time, resources, the technology personnel composed of the School Learning Resource Development Committee and Division Quality Assurance Committee. For the process, we have organization of SLDRC, or the development team and the quality assurance team, the conduct of training or disorientation, the development of modules, the validation, revision, finalization, collation, and distribution of modules. Our output are the validated modules, and our expected outcome is to have engaged workforce. Okay, let us familiar with this definition of terms. When you hear the word learning resource, what comes into your mind? Ano po yung nasa isip nyo kapag nabanggit ang learning resources? Okay, learning resources are text-based and non-text-based materials. Pag sinabi nating text-based, ito yung mga activity sheets, mga DLL, DLP, worksheets. Ito yung mga printed materials. While the non-text-based materials are those non-print materials including equipment. Example, yung mga audio and videos. Modules. Ano ang unang pumapasok sa isip natin kapag narinig natin ang modules? Ito ba ay kaiba sa activity sheets? Modules are learning materials designed primarily for independent or self-study. It is used to supplement and complement instruction. It is implemented whether for teacher-led format, distance learning, or online learning. So ito po ang ating gagawin, ito po ang intention natin para sa Project CLAID na ito. Para makapag-provide tayo ng materials para sa ating mga bata in response to the call of the DepEd that education must continue. Why does LRMS exist? Bakit kaya nag-exist ang LR? So this is our goal, to provide our learners with diverse, quality, accessible, cost-effective, and appropriate learning resources to have effective and efficient learning outcomes. Pag sinabi nating quality learning resource, meaning dumaan ito sa masusing evaluasyon, or it shall undergo evaluation process in terms of content, language, and format ng materials. So this is the learning resource processes. The 5 sub-processes are: first, assessment of needs. Assessment of needs refers to inventory of LRs to identify what are the needs and gaps. And this will lead us for the design and development of LRs. The data gathered and analyzed to inform decisions for development. Okay, design and development refers to the process involved in defining standards, guidelines, and conventions in crafting and production of LRs. And the next one is the quality assurance. This is a sub-process where LRs are evaluated by selected content experts or specialists who are not part of the development team to ensure compliance of LRs to DepEd standards and requirements. The next one is production and delivery. This process enable us to produce for the printing and reproduction and distribution of LRs. And the last one is storage and maintenance. Okay, using our LR portal and division portal, we can store and manage the LR system. The sub-process follow a sequential pattern and happen in a particular order, one following the other. So the development is always start with assessment of LR needs, down to the sequential flow, and ends with storage and maintenance. So in developing our LRs or modules, these are the key points in developing LRs. Number one, it should be aligned with the most essential learning competencies. It should reflect the K-12 curriculum's philosophy and vision of producing citizens imbued with values and 21st century skills. Ano po ba yung mga 21st century skills? These are the 5 C's. Ano po ba yung mga 5 C's na tinatawag natin? Yes, ito ay communication, collaboration, creativity, critical thinking, and character. Tandaan po natin ang 5 C's na yan. So ang ating module dapat naka-embed ang 5 C's na ito sa mga activities na ilalagay natin sa ating module. Second is freshness of information. In developing your modules, we have to include current, recent information. Dapat walang obsolete na information. The third one is format, presentation, and organization. Later on, I'll be giving you the template and the typography, the page numbers, para at least, the pagination rather, para at least guided tayo in terms of format. In terms of presentation, it must be engaging. It must be interactive. In terms of organization, meron tayong typography na dapat sundin. The next one is on language and accuracy of content. Language in the sense na alam natin kung ano ang gagamitin ng nating MOI or kung ano yung ating MOI dyan sa subject natin na yan, ayun ang gagawan natin ng module. Say for example, in grade 1, mother tongue ang gamit natin for all the subjects except Filipino and except English. Okay? And for accuracy of content, we will be using tools and guidelines in evaluating the accuracy of content. And later on, this will be given in details. In terms of social content, IPR, and copyright concerns, we have to consider these key points in order to make our module free from typo errors, free from copyright concerns, free from bias, kasi may social content guidelines tayong i-consider. Okay, pursuant to Section 5 of Republic Act 10533, otherwise known as Enhanced Basic Education Curriculum, the Department of Education shall adhere to the following standards and principles in developing the basic education curriculum. The curriculum shall be learner-centered, inclusive, and developmentally appropriate. The curriculum shall be relevant, responsive, and research-based. The curriculum shall be culture-based. The curriculum shall be contextualized and global. The curriculum shall use pedagogical approaches that are constructivist, inquiry-based, reflective, collaborative, and integrative. So, ito po ang ating legal basis sa pag-conceptualize ng Project CLAID. Okay, so these are the 5 C's in developing the 21st century skills of our learners. Okay, for number 1, we have the communication. Communication is the practice of solving problems. Sa ating module, makikita po natin ang mga icons na ito. I-embed natin ang 5 C's sa pag-develop ng ating module. Kung ano ang applicable na 5C sa isang activity, yun ang itatapat nating icon. The next one is collaboration, meaning working together to achieve a common goal. The next one is communication. It is the practice of conveying ideas quickly and clearly. In our sample module, nandun sa part ng key concepts, nakalagay ang communication because we're trying to convey the ideas. to the learners. And then for character, ayan, nakikita nyo yung icon, a hand having a balance on the picture of heart at saka brain kasi dapat balance yan. To foster integrity, honesty, fairness, respect, emotional, intellectual, and moral qualities of learners. And the next one is creativity. Creativity means thinking outside the box. May mga activities tayo that we engage our learners to think outside the box. And the last one is critical thinking. So critical thinking, we encourage them to think critically, critically by means of evaluating or by comparing, or pwede din tayo magbigay ng activities that encourage the learners to think critically. Okay, so this is our timeline. First, the organization of LR development team. So nagawa na natin yan last May 18 to May 30, 2020. So that is our first step. Second, the conduct of the webinar on module development, which is happening right now, June 8, 2020. Next is the development and quality assurance from June 9 to June 19, 2020. Okay, on development and quality assurance process, ito po ang dapat nating tandaan. First, the writer shall submit the module to the quality assurers. Quality assurers, tatlo po yun. Content editor, language editor, and layout and design editor or yung format editor. Quality assurers then check the grammar, accuracy of content, and format based on the evaluation tools and guidelines. After the evaluation of modules, quality assurers shall return back the module to developers to incorporate the findings, recommendations, and comments for further improvement of the module. The revised module shall be forwarded again to the quality assurers to check whether the recommendations and findings have been incorporated or implemented. Quality assurers shall submit the final version of modules to education program supervisor in charge of the subject for uploading of LRs via Google Drive through the help of their technical assistants. Okay? The next step is revision and finalization. Natakal na rin natin yan kanina. For further improvement, we need to revise our module, and we have this time schedule from June 9 to 17, 2020. The next step is the collation or organization of modules from June 18 to 19, 2020 by uploading to our CID Google Drive. Meron po akong link na ibibigay para sa mga EPS at sa kanilang technical assistant para i-upload ang mga modules na quality assured na or validated na. In terms of production, this will happen on June 22 to 30, 2020, where ang ating LGU ang ating partner for this project through coordinating with the LGU. Si Ma'am Romela ang nag-coordinate po nito sa LGU at tayo po ay thankful dahil tayo po ay bibigyan ng pondo para sa production. And then the last step is distribution. Gamit ang e-trike, mandabasa, i-distribute po ang mga LRs to our learners with the help also of our barangay officials. Okay, in terms of page designing. Page designing is the use of type, graphics, and space in creating effective and attractive learning resources. Ano ba ang font size? Ano ba ang font style na appropriate to our learners? Paano ba ang graphics or the illustrations and images? Kailangan ito ay original ba? Kailangan bang mag-harvest sa internet? Space in creating effective and attractive learning resources. So nakalagay po yan sa ating typography of LRs. Later on, I'll be presenting to you. Okay, so this is the sample of module. Okay. On the header part, sa header po, makikita natin ang ating SDO logo. Ayan. And on the right side, ang Mandaluyong logo. And the project title. And the grade and subject identifier. This is English grade 11. So ang color code for English is light blue. Okay, so this shows the grade level or color code identifier. For English, ayan po yun, light blue. For Filipino, dark blue. For science, orange. For mathematics, green. Araling panlipunan, red. Edukasyon sa pagpapakatao, brown. Music and arts, canary yellow. Physical education and health, light yellow. Mother tongue-based multilingual education, white. Edukasyong pantahanan at pangkabuhayan, and TLE, violet. And for kindergarten, pink. Sa senior high school naman ay black. Ito po ang typography of K-12 LRs. For kinder to grade 1, Century Gothic, except po para sa symbol ng question mark. Para sa symbol na question mark, pwede po natin gamitin ang Arial. Okay? Ragged right ang ating gagamitin sa orientation para ma-avoid ang hyphenation. And these are the font size, line space, and art-to-text ratio. So let us be guided in this typography. Kung anong grade level at anong subject area yung i-develop natin, let's consider the color code and typography of K-12 LRs. For page setup, from kindergarten to grades 12, ang gagamitin po nating paper size ay ang A4. Uniform po tayo dapat dyan. Okay, portrait, ang orientation. Ang margin natin ay 1 inch in all sides. Sa top, bottom, inside, and outside margins, 1 inch po. For the number of pages, at least 10 pages. In citing our references, sources should be cited based on Chicago Manual of Styles, where last name, first name, middle name, and then yung title ng book, city, the publisher, and the year published. Yan po ang susundan nating format. So page numbers should be centered at the bottom of the page. Okay? So let me present to you the sample template. Okay. Okay, so this is the sample template. Ayan yung header natin. Okay, and then sa content, ayan, name, date, score, and then quarter. Of course, first quarter ang ating gagawin, module number, and the topic or the lesson. Of course, our expectations through objectives. For this part, ito pong part na to, dito natin ilalagay ang concept or yung remember, simple discussion, or examples. Okay, yung picture na to, it is intended only for elementary. Okay, and note, we have to embed the 5 C's in different parts of the module. Ano ulit ang 5 C's? Ulitin natin. Communication, collaboration, creative thinking, critical thinking, and character. Okay, so these are the main parts of the module. First, pretest. So magkakaroon tayo ng pretest. And this will assess what the learner knows about the lessons. I-check natin yung schema ng bata. That's why we had to develop a pretest. Review. This will measure the knowledge and skills that the learner understands from the previous lesson to connect to the current lesson. Okay? And then next is the introduction. This section will give the learner an overview of the lesson. The next one is activities. Activities are set of activities that learner will perform, whether with assistance of parents, siblings, and mentors. Kaya meron tayong nilagay dyan na activity 1, 2, and 3. Okay, check your understanding. This section evaluates the learner's level of mastery in achieving the objectives. And the last part is post-test. This will measure how much the learners learn from the entire module. And of course, we have to cite our references, answer key, and kung sino ang developer, let us include our name. Okay? Madali po bang sundan ang ating module? Actually, this is aligned with the NCR's format. Yun nga lang, iba-iba lang ang katawagan dun sa parts. But it is aligned with NCR's format of developing modules. Inalign na namin po ito. At sa paggawa ng module, we will be monitored by NCR. All right. So let me end this session with this adage by Charles Darwin. It is not the strongest of the species that survive, nor the most intelligent, but the one most responsive to change. And with that, thank you, maraming salamat, and balagya salamat, arigato.
Right. Thank you so much, Ma'am Ruby Baniquez, Dr. Ruby Baniquez.
The very diligent and skillful supervisor of LRMS. Sir JD?
Okay? So, to keep us going, introduce ko na ang ating next speaker. Kunin ko lang yung aking notes. Na-pressure ako kasi in-introduce mo si Ma'am Ruby with credentials. So, syempre, di tayo magpapatalo dyan.
Tama.
Sa ating next
Kasi
speaker.
magaling yung next speaker din natin.
Equally.
Lahat sila.
Magaling.
Magagaling.
Yeah.
Lahat sila.
Thank you again, Ma'am Ruby.
Thank you.
Salamat ulit.
Okay, so to introduce our speaker, our next speaker, she graduated from Philippine Normal University with Bachelor of Science in Physics for Teachers. She continued her learning from De La Salle University with a Master of Education in Science Education, major in physics. She started her career in the Department of Education. Ayaw kong magitin yung year. Okay. Okay. As a teacher, of course. And she was
And a head
promoted.
teacher.
She was promoted as head teacher 3, no, in the city of Mandaluyong Science High School.
Yes.
Of course, now our education program supervisor in charge of science, ladies and gentlemen, Miss Roxanne Suarnaba Villanueva. Hi, Ma'am Rox.
Hello, good morning.
Morning, Ma'am Rox.
Good morning, Sir Jet. And good morning po sa lahat ng viewers natin. Okay po yung audio.
Maybe
Yes.
there's a need for little louder na lang.
Louder. Maybe I can move my laptop closer.
Okay.
Okay, is this all right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
So good morning po. Okay na, even the volume of my voice. Okay. So good morning po sa ating lahat, and our next discussion will be on evaluating LRs in terms of content. So first muna po, I would like to say na we appreciate all the efforts of our teachers, master teachers, subject experts, our selected school heads in being part of this endeavor, because we really need to come up with materials that our learners can use. So I will now start sharing my screen. Okay. And okay, yeah. So we are going to talk about the evaluation tool for content. Okay. So I think okay naman na, no need to hide anything. So this presentation both targets our writers as well as our content validators or our content evaluators, because if we have laid down what tool to use in reviewing the LRs will be, we have a stronger chance of maximizing our time in writing our LRs and in evaluating them. So for our evaluation tool for content, we have the following factors that we can consider. The first one is in terms of the intellectual property and copyrights compliance. So we are going to write modules for our use in the division, and there would be certain things that we need to consider in this regard. Second is in the learning competency. So as you probably know by now, we have our MELCS, our most essential learning competencies. And our first task in determining or evaluating the content of an LR is to find out or to make sure that una-una dapat tina-target niya or align siya with this MELCS. Next is we look into the LRs in terms of the instructional design and organization. Dr. Baniquez presented clearly kung ano yung in-expect nating instructional design for our LRs for Project CLAID, and also the way the sequences of the parts will be in the LR. The instructional quality, the assessment activities included in the LR, in the module, in the CLAID materials that we're going to have, and in terms of readability. So again, there are 6 factors that we are going to consider. But we will be guided by a tool on how to evaluate them. So do not worry. So first, let's go right into looking at the evaluation tool for content. And as you can see in the screen right now, it's a tool for ADM Dep Ed Develop module. So basically, we're following what the expectations are for those modules that they develop. So first, to indicate, dapat naka-indicate yung learning area for what grade level it is for, and yung title. So I shall run down on the instructions found at the start of the tool. First, carefully read the learning resource page by page to evaluate the LR for compliance to standards indicated in the criterion items under the 6 factors. Next, put a check mark in the appropriate column beside each criterion item. If your answer is no, cite specific pages. And then after nung tool na to, there is a summary of findings form where these errors or pages or lines and recommendations can be found. Write NA or not applicable for criterion items that does not apply in the LR evaluated. Based on the number of criterion items marked yes under each factor, mark the appropriate column to indicate if the LR complied or not with the standards for that given factor. So for example, an LR has to comply with at least three of the given indicators para maging yes siya for that criterion factor. For factors with items marked not applicable, count the total applicable criterion items and multiply this with 75% or 0.75 to determine the cutoff for compliance. Okay, so let's move on now to factor number 1. The first factor that we're going to consider is the intellectual property rights compliance. There are 4 indicators in here, or criterion items. First one is the learning resource has no copyright violations. Copyrighted text and visuals used in the LR are cited. Copyrighted materials used in the LR are accurately cited, and then references are properly cited in the bibliography. We have a references part in our format. So, dapat naka-indicate doon kung ano yung mga materials na ginamit. Also, there are images. In case, for example, in science, magiging example ko yata puro science. In case of images that you would need to include in the LR, you can do a Google image search wherein you can filter the ones that you can have for reuse, that are pegged or filtered for reuse. So that way, walang magiging copyright violations for that one. Next, on factor 2, learning competencies. We need to look into the LR and evaluate and determine if the content is consistent with the targeted Dep Ed learning competencies intended for the learning area and grade level. So again, let me point out and emphasize that in here we are looking at the MELCS and not the previous learning competencies that we've had for the entire curriculum guide for the way we used to do that in the previous years. So for this set of materials that we are developing under Project CLAID, the focus, the target, our guide mainly would be the MELCS. So kailangan makita natin na consistent siya with the targeted MELCS intended for the grade level and learning area. So if you look at the note here for factor 1, at least 3 of the 4 criteria for intellectual property rights compliance must be yes, must be marked yes para maging complied siya for this factor. For learning competencies na factor naman, isa lang naman yon, so dapat marked yes siya. Kasi kung hindi, it poses a big problem kung para saan pala yung learning resource na yun. So dapat the learning resource is for that targeted, indicated MELCS. In the format, we can see where the MELCS is written and we can check that out. Factor 3, instructional design and organization. So this has something to do with incorporating the 5 C's, which is the instructional design prescribed by the region, yung character, yung sinabi ni Dr. Baniked kanina, character, critical thinking, creativity. So let me just run through the different criteria. The LR contributes to the achievement of specific objectives of the learning area and grade level for which it is intended. Sequencing of contents and activity within each lesson facilitates achievement of objectives. Remember, or it is important to emphasize now that this will be used at home. The learning resources will be used at home and may not, the teachers who will be using them for the students, hindi sila kaagad malamang, or in certain cases, hindi sila ganun ka ma-reach or makapagtanong kagad, makapag-clarify kagad, ganyan. So it is important to take note of how we sequence the activities. For example, we cannot start with yung mahirap kaagad and then papadali. Kailangan guided and sequenced properly yung mga activities, and it would facilitate the achievement of the objectives. And also take note na yung kasama ng bata while answering or accomplishing the LR under CLAID would be a home learning partner, which can be the parent, an older sibling, and the like. So ibig sabihin, it's not, wala yung nakikita natin dati sa classroom na talagang interaction with the teacher na on time and talagang at that moment makakapagtanong siya. So it's important that we sequence our activities clearly and that they all facilitate the achievement of objectives. Next, content is suitable to the target learner's level of development, needs, and experience. Okay. Next, content reinforces, enriches, and or leads to the mastery of the targeted learning competencies intended for the learning area and grade level. Content is logically developed and organized throughout the material. The lessons and activities are arranged from simple to complex, from observable to abstract. Okay? So, again, sorry kasi syempre, science yung bibigay kong example. In particular to early grade levels, mga grade 3, grade 4 na science, elementary science, it's important that we make it explicit that the learning material, the concepts in the learning material, yung mga abstract na part doon will be bridged talaga doon sa mga experiences na meron sila. For example, yung temperature, hindi tayo basta-basta magsasabi ng temperature without eliciting from them their experiences with hot or cold objects na merong differences sa temperature before getting them to understand what temperature is. So we need to move from what is observable to abstract. Next, the LR contains useful introductions, reviews, summaries, and other devices that facilitate smooth progression from one lesson to another. You have to think the LR material that we are going to develop as the one talking to the learner using it. So, kumbaga, yung mga sasabihin ni teacher na mga transition points, transition prompts, nandun na yun sana dun sa LR. For example, now that you have answered the pretest, now that we have ganyan, so now that we have reviewed what you understand about temperature or about hotness or coldness of object, let's take a look at the following activity. So, there are transition points to bridge the different parts of the LR. And our validators can also look out for this kasi it is this transition prompts, this mga messages like that that make the LR cohesive and seamless doon sa pagpe-present ng mga activities and mga content and concepts. Okay? So, number 7, still under factor 3, development of lessons allows for review, comparison, and integration with previous lessons. So, you might remember that there is an introduction part in the format presented by Dr. Baniked. So, you can, our writers and our validators can look out na yung part na yon would make sure that there is a bridging from a previous lesson, or kung new lesson siya, tuloy sa science na naman, bridging from a previous grade level na on that topic din. So, it's like setting up the schema for that kind of content or that kind of learning experience na ibibigay nung module na yon, nung LR material na yon. Motivational strategies, overviews, advanced organizers, puzzles, games are provided. The LR uses various teaching and learning strategies to meet individual differences, learning styles, if applicable. The LR develops higher cognitive skills, critical thinking, creativity, learning by doing, problem solving, and other 21st century skills. 11, these are the values, Filipino values that we would like to be integrated or incorporated in our LR. So our validators for content can mark kung saan dito pumapasok, kung ano dito yung mga pumapasok dun sa LR being evaluated. For this particular factor, at least 8 criterion items must be marked yes to indicate compliance to this factor. So there are 11 criterion items. If yung 8 doon ay yes, pasok siya para sa factor na to. Okay, yung LR na to for this factor. Now, of course, sige, dun sa example. Factor number 4 is instructional quality. Content and information are accurate. Content and information are up to date. The LR is free from any social content violations. LR is free from factual errors, free from computational errors, and free from grammatical errors. So, of the 6, kailangan makapag-comply ng 5 pag-comply siya, pag yes siya, complied siya dito sa factor na to. Okay, factor 5, assessment. The LR provides useful measures and information that help the teacher evaluate learners' progress in mastering the target competencies. Assessments are aligned with the specific objectives and content. It provides self-checks, ready-made achievement tests, and or review activities. Provides a variety of assessment types. Assessments have clear demonstrations or examples, instructions, and or rubrics to serve as a guide on how these will be used. Next, variety of activities within the LR are utilized to ensure active engagement of the learner. So, varied assessment techniques, and also we make sure that the assessment tools, assessment parts indicated dun sa LR align siya with the objectives and the content. Yun yung talagang kino-consider natin. So, next. At least 5. So in the previous slide, we see that there are 6 criterion items for an LR to be complying with the standards for assessment. At least 5 criterion items must be marked yes to indicate that. Last factor is factor 6, readability. So first, we look at the vocabulary level and if it is adapted to target users' experience and understanding. The length of the sentences is suited to the comprehension level of the target user. Sentences and paragraph structures are varied and appropriate to the target user. There is a logical and smooth flow of ideas within a lesson and from lesson to lesson. For example, if that LR contains 2 lessons, para makover niya yung buong MELCS, there should be a smooth flow of ideas from the first one to the next one. So again, this can be indicated by our transition prompts, our paragraphs that we can include in there to make the LR more engaging and interactive in terms of napaparating mo dun sa learner, dun sa batang sumasagot ng LR, how the 2 lessons are connected. There is consistently good use of transition devices to focus on the main topics and signal a change of topic. Perhaps the best way to consider this is you imagine that you actually have a learner in front of you and you want to design a lesson with them in mind. Pwede mo makausap talaga and the LR, the words that you write in the LR are the ones who will be speaking to that learner. Lessons, instructions, exercises, questions, and activities are clear to the target user. At least 5 criterion items for this factor must be marked yes to indicate compliance to this factor. So of the 6, if there are 5 or more, or 6, syempre, na yes siya, then the LR has complied with the standards for this factor. Okay? So next, the last part of the evaluation tool will be to find out kung ano yung magiging recommendation. First is kung may minor revision lang. So the material will be found compliant to the minimum requirements in all 6. So okay, naka-3 siya dun sa first, naka-5 siya dun sa last na factor. If the material is found compliant to the minimum requirements in all 6 factors and there are minor revisions recommended, then this will be checked. So the minor revisions for recommendations should be included in the summary of content findings form, and LR with marginal use notes must be implemented. Next, major revision. This material is non-compliant to the requirements in one or more factors. So, kung merong isang factor or more na hindi siya compliant, hindi siya umabot sa pinaka-cut-off score, hindi siya naka-3, halimbawa for the first factor, or hindi siya naka-5 for the last one, major revision ang mangyayari. So, we need to also communicate, our validator, content validators, we need to communicate to our writers kung ano yung magiging revisions na yon, and this will be included in the summary of content findings form and LR, ganun din, with marginal notes. Finally, the third one, the material is found compliant to all factors with no corrections. Ito yung masarap, di ba? Yung pinakasana all natin. Sana nga lahat ng LR material developed for field validation agad. So, ayan po. And then, sino po yung nag-evaluate and yung signature. I will now share a sample evaluation tool accomplished. This is from another division. It was shared to us by our science supervisor for NCR. So, kung nandyan po kayo, Mamayka, marami pong salamat sa pag-share ng maraming materials para sa science sa NCR, and malaki pong tulong yon sa amin. So, here's an example. This one, wait po kasi, yan. I hope you can see. Yan po. I think we can see this one. So, here's an example of an accomplished evaluation tool for content. And pasintabi po sa mga ibang learning area. Science po yung magiging example ko. No surprise in that. And pasintabi rin sa mga ibang domain ng science, physics yung example na nagkataon lang. So this is for Science 8. The title of the LR material is Go With Your Safety, Go in Action. So this is for Force, Matter, and Energy in grade 8. So ayan po, may mga check na nag-comply siya. And I think this would also help us kasi hindi tayo magkakaharap ngayon and we are doing things remotely. You can see on the right side of the page na merong malaking space dyan. It's because meron siyang mga in-insert na comments. Yan, comment number 1, ano yung minor revision na yon. Ito, para saan yung, it's a yes, but it's a yes, pero merong mga minor revision na mangyayari. Also, this one, it's a yes, pero meron siyang mga suggested minor revision. So, the tool can be returned. The tool can accompany the LR material to be returned to the writer for the revisions para malaman niya kung ano yung gagawin. So, again, here, as an example, we can see na 4 yung may yes. So, since at least 3 criterion items must be marked yes to indicate compliance, complied siya. Sabi nga ni Kim Chu, pwede na siya sa factor na yon. And then, also, we have the following. Ganun din po. Meron siyang comment dito. It's a yes, pero may comment. And yun yung nakalagay doon sa magiging So after nun, after ma-check lahat and found to be compliant in all 6 factors, yun nga lang may mga minor revision siyang isasuggest. For minor revision siya. Ito yung naka-check. Minor revision. And after that tool, this is accomplished by Dr. Ferdinand Bautista. I think of Manila Science, kung di ako nagkakamali. So thank you, sir. Ito po yung summary of content findings for the developed module learning resource. We can write in here kung ano yung mga page or line or paragraph and ano yung mga errors and findings. And then ano yung specific recommendations for improving the identified criteria. So it does not stop with simply pointing out or indicating kung ano yung error or finding or observations. We can suggest recommendations for improving the identified criterion or part of that LR material. So yun po yung example. We'll now go back to my presentation to show a few more examples. So again, ito po yung last part ng evaluation tool. And it is followed by the summary of content findings for the developed learning resources. So title of the LR and then yung kanina. Okay? So here's an example of from the same example provided to us by Mamaika para sa pag-help sa pagbabalidate ng content ng mga LR. So eto, ang ginawa ni validator, ni content evaluator is to highlight kung ano yung kanyang bibigyan ng suggestion or recommendation for revision. So meron kayo nakikita siyang 1. In Microsoft Word, you can insert comment, and that would be comment number 1, so that when you return the material or send the material back to the writer, makikita niya kung ano yung comment and where exactly it is for. Tama ba? What exactly it is for. What part of the LR is the comment for the revision. So the first na nakita ni evaluator for this example is on the instruction, pero this is more of a language thing, so our next speaker would be more adept with that, so mas i-explain niya to, pero just an example on how to insert comments and recommendations for revision. Instead na write the letter of the correct answer that best completes the sentence, write the letter of the correct answer that best completes the sentence or answers the question, because apparently there are items in the pretest na answering the question and not simply completion. So for content, we can take a look at the second part ng LR na meron siyang comment for revision, which is option C. For the first question, balance. So, basahin ko lang yung question. A private car and a truck are both moving at the same velocity. A truck has a tendency to resist change in its motion more than a car due to its blank. So, of course, there must be a period also in there. Letter A, mass. B, force. C, balance. D, inertia. Perhaps to clarify what balance means, ito yung comment ni validator. So, for number 2, replace this with other options such as weight, size, etc. Kasi the balance thing might mean differently for different learners or different home learning partners and might not be very specific with the language that is used in physics and science. And also, nandun yung tanong, what is the expected answer here? Is it A or D? So, yun po. So, that's an example of looking into like that. Okay? Another example, this one is for looking back. Remember, it is important that we put something in there in our LR that bridges the present lesson, the present material to the previous one. So this will be about mass and acceleration, yung lesson niya. Kailangan ma-review yung learner about his or her understanding regarding balance or unbalanced forces. So ang highlight for the comment or the revision would be number 1. The horse is pulling the cart moves at the same speed and direction. And here is the comment of the validator. At constant speed in one direction. So instead the same speed in and direction, the more specific term used in force, motion, and energies is at a constant speed in one direction. However, there's a caveat here. Kailangan din yung learner, alam na niya what constant means. It means unchanging. It means not changing. So, yun po. It's another example. Okay. So, here's a look kung paano siya in-edit or in-evaluate, binalidator. So, ayan po, naka-highlight. Okay. Po. Naka-highlight yung mga items or lines na merong sinasuggest na revision. And on the second page, merong summary of comments. This is sent as a PDF to the writer, the developer of the LR, para makita niya kung ano yon. But also, if you put it in a Microsoft Word and send it as a soft copy, as a file to the writer, makikita naman niya side by side dun sa marginal section, sa margin ng page na yun mismo, yung mga inserted comments. Ayan, nakikita nyo na nagda-download ako sa BitTorrent. So, yun po. So, that ends my presentation. Okay. And, yun po. That ends my presentation on using the evaluation tool for content. And if you, do we have ano, I think later meron yata tayong mga open forum part. And if you have any questions in particular para sa mga science writers natin, you can just send me a message. And then also later on, meron naman tayong mga breakout sessions for that. So thank you, and once again, good morning po sa inyong lahat. Thank you for listening.
Alright, so maraming salamat sa Bea Alonso ng Mandaluyong. Thank you so much, Ma'am Roxanne.
Introduction.
Okay. Yeah, so thank you so much, Rox. We'll see you later sa open forum. Okay, Sir Jet. So, before we continue, gusto ko magpasalamat kay Ma'am Rox again and sa lahat po ng mga participants po natin dito sa ating webinar. We have 1,200 participants right now. Ayan, nakikita ko din na ang ating mga school heads ay nandito with us. Ma'am Elalina Butals from 9 de Febrero.
Morning.
And nakita ko dito si Sir Redobante, Greater Ilis. Okay, ayan. Ayan, pati si Sir Eric. Ayan, nag-present sila. Alright, nag-present.
Hello po. Ayan, Sir Mendola.
Okay. Kung may school head pa po dyan at hindi pa po nababanggit, just comment. Si Ma'am Joy din. Ma'am Joy Tamayo is here with us. Thank you so much po for being with us this morning. Okay? And ayan, so Ma'am Olivia Pagurayan is here with us. Okay? So mamaya magbabanggit po tayo ulit, but we must continue na our session. So, Sir Jet?
Okay, let's proceed. Thank you, Sir JD. Sige, sabi mo credentials. Ito, maraming credentials. Okay, so our next speaker started his career as a teacher in Central Luzon State University, Nueva Ecija, at the Laboratory High School with MA in Administration and Supervision and Master of Arts in Teaching English at Philippine Normal University with complete academic requirements at the University of the Philippines for his PhD in Language Education. 34 years as an educator. He's a writer, a speaker, master teacher, and assistant to the principal at Andres Bonifacio Integrated School. And now, the education program supervisor of our SDO Mandaluyong. Ladies and gentlemen, the silver tongue, Sir Ramondo Belardo Jr. Sir Rumble.
Hello, sir. Can you hear me? Hello?
Yes, good morning po.
Okay. Sound check. Is it perfect? Okay.
Perfect.
So I will start my talk with this, a mathematical expression. 3 is to 1,200. Symbols, N2, CUB. Sounds new in the new normal, right? 3 is to 1,200 participants and viewers. N2 CUB, nice to see you back. Good morning, everyone, to our full-fledged ASDS, OIC, SDS, to all our beloved school heads, to my colleagues, EPSS, and of course, the PSDSS, to the frontliners, teachers as well as head teachers who are around. A pleasant day and nice to see you all healthy and safe. The topic assigned to me is all about the guidelines and summary of findings template for language evaluation of DepEd developed ADM modules. So this is particularly focusing on the evaluation of the validators specifically on language. I am going to give an early warning to our language validators. It is only in language that we have to focus. We are never authorized to check the content of the module. So leave it to the content experts. Okay, so before I start my presentation, I would like to really start with the purpose of this webinar, as well as why do we have to really review the language content of the assigned ADM modules, and how are we going to write notes to indicate errors found for final validation. Here is the objective. Slide, please. Well, the objective is to review the language content, particularly on syntax and grammar. I will not explain now what is grammar and what is syntax, because as teachers of English, we have studied this for almost 14 years in our life and career. So we are going to write marginal notes, know how to write marginal notes, and how to indicate errors found. And the next topic is, what are the mechanics? What should we do in order to validate our ADM modules? What are the mechanics and what are our terms of reference? Number one, validators, please take note of this, especially teachers of English and other language experts from different learning areas. And I have been informed that language content validators are not consigned only to teachers of English, but also to other teachers from other learning areas who are also experts in language, aside from content. So we should not set aside that there are also good language teachers in science, in mathematics, in MAPE, in science, in mathematics, in AP, and TLE, in all other learning areas. So what are our terms of references? The first one is the Learning Resource Evaluators, or the LREs for language, shall perform the following roles and responsibilities. And starting this moment, I am now swearing you into oath that you will perform the following tasks. Number one, we have to evaluate and check the assigned ADM modules for language and grammatical errors. Again, as teachers of English, we know the basic rules for grammar, as well as on syntax, as well as on words. Because as Ma'am Rox had just presented, she mentioned in one of the evaluation tools for content is readability. So we really have to check the grade level of the grade level assigned to the module writer, because the language used, the words, or the diction dictates the readability of the module. Number two, we have to write, or you have to write specific comments, findings, and recommended revisions. Again, recommended revisions. Why recommended? Because you are going to give this back to the original module writer. And we have to check if our recommended revisions have been performed or have been done by them. And recommended revisions on the margin of the pages of the assigned modules. You can find this at the last part of my presentation. Okay, number three. Number three, please. You are going to accomplish the summary of findings report that shall guide the development team in implementing the recommended revisions. Again, it is a must that you have to accomplish the summary of findings report. No shortcut to this. Bawal magpasa-pasa. 1.4. Excuse me, COVID-free po ako. Submit the evaluated ADM modules with marginal comments and the duly accomplished summary report on a staggered basis. Repeat, I am not COVID. I am not inflicted with COVID. I'm just excited after 3 months. Okay, we have to submit the evaluated ADM modules with marginal comments and the duly accomplished summary report on a staggered basis until all assigned ADM modules have been evaluated. So sabay-sabay, bawal ang utay-utay. Let's go on. 1.5. We have to discuss the development with the development team of the assigned LRs if needed. Why why is there a purpose? To clarify comments and recommended revisions made in your review. Since we are doing this virtually, we are going to use this on our own effort through our online meetings and conversation. We can also have the chat group, or you can send the corrections through your messenger. Okay, those are the different terms of references that we really have to follow. Are there questions? Questions are not entertained this time. I will give you time during our breakout session. The next part of my presentation would be, next, sir. Next slide, please. Okay, so what are you going to receive as language validators or editors? You will receive the following materials with open arms and of course with sharp mind, and another is with a brilliant ideas and eyes. You are going to receive the assigned ADM modules to be reviewed. So if you are assigned to review a ADM or module for grade 2, focus on grade 2 only. Do not mind other grade level. If you are assigned to evaluate the language content of science or math, MAPE, and other learning areas, focus on that area. But sometimes it is also good if you are going to collaborate or ask if you have doubts, if you have clouds at the back of your mind. Next, you are going to receive guide in the language review of Depth and Developed ADM modules. As I said, this is in the latter part of my presentation. You will also receive summary of language findings template, which is Annex 1, which is also a digital copy to be provided to you later, and we will be discussing that after our breakout session this morning. Okay, so what are we still have to do as language editors? We are going to evaluate, number 3, next slide please. We are going to evaluate the assigned ADM modules one at a time. That's why it is also staggered. Why? To focus on every minor or the least and the most essential part of the lesson. In short, kukutuhan natin ang bawat clause, phrase, statement, paragraph, or the whole text within the ADM module. We have to carefully read the modules page by page to identify language errors using the following guidelines in making your marginal notes. Now, we have been oriented, or we have been slightly oriented by Ma'am Rox a while ago on how to make the editing as well as the corrections or putting up marginal notes a while ago. So we have to focus on that. Next, please. Aside from that, since we are language validators or editors, What are we going to focus on language? We have first to focus on coherence and clarity of thought. So we have coherence, clarity of thoughts. So if we are going to divide this, coherence means the connectivity, arrangement, relationship of one word to another to make up a phrase, to make up a clause, to make up a sentence, or if it is in a paragraph, are the sentences, are all individual sentences related to one another to make up or to come up with a perfect paragraph that is coherence. And clarity of thought, simple, one word, unity of idea. Are the sentences related? Yes, they are coherent. There is unity, oneness of thought. If one idea, if one sentence doesn't belong to the other, maybe 3 or 5 sentences, remove that sentence. It is not a part of that, so it will destroy the unity or clarity and oneness of thought. How are we going to do this? First, ask the question. Do the statements or do the phrases make sense? So our judgment comes here. In short, we have our instincts. Kapag may kwenta ang kwento, so siya ay mahalaga. Kaya kapag walang kwenta ang kwento, so ito ay walang kwenta. Kaya nga alisin ang kwentong walang kwenta ay hindi po pwede sa ating module writing. Number 2, do the sentences in the paragraph contribute to one idea? I have already explained this, related or relevant to question number 1. Number 3, okay, we just chunked this. Are the thoughts or are the ideas logically sequenced? So our knowledge as teachers of English, this is sequencing, which is one of the competencies in English. That is logical organization or organization as well as sequencing. This is indicated in one of our competencies. Number 4, are conjunctions and transitional phrases using transitional devices used to link sentences or paragraphs. Are conjunctions used? Are transitional phrases used correctly to link one sentence to the other to come up with a very effective paragraph? If the answer is yes, then go on. That is correct. Number 5, is the choice of words or expressions appropriate? Again, my dear teachers of English and all teachers from other learning areas, that is diction. So repeat, diction. It is the proper use and choice of words. Let me clarify this, especially to those who are not used to teaching English. Diction is different from pronunciation. Again, pronunciation, not pronunciation. Diction is the proper choice and use of words. That's why it is related to Ma'am Roxanne's presentation, readability. While pronunciation is enunciation. Ang arte niyong pagsasalita, yung tamang pagbigkas, that is pronunciation, or for other people, enunciation. Pero the proper choice and the proper use of word is diction. Okay, just like an example of that is these words. For example, for science, when you say germ, it is a formal diction. But for us teachers of English, we may not say germ. We may say it's a bug. Now it becomes difficult. But when it comes to diction, bugs and germs are the same. So we have to be very particular, language validators of the language used in a particular learning area. Is that clear? My dear teachers, I hope it is clear because some words in science mean differently to English. Some words in MAPE or others say MAPE, some words in MAPE or MAPE may be having a different meaning in English or in science. Another example is a kid. So when we say kid, it is very informal. To make it formal, make it educational, just say a child. When you say holiday, it's a slang. It's a slang word, holiday. But to make it formal, holiday, we may change it, replace it with vacation or others, vacation. And last, when we say biscuit, when you say biscuit, it is informal. To make it formal, language teachers, that becomes or it is being substituted by the word cookie or cookies. That's why we have cooking ng ina mo. Cookie. Cooking ng ina mo. Okay, let's go on with the next, sir. Okay, number 6. Are the sentences too long or complex? This is one factor that greatly affects the reading skill and comprehension of our slow, non-slow, and average learners. If the sentences are too long, the minds of our slow learners easily get tired. So we have to adjust to the level of our learners. But in this new normal, our language, the language that you have to use, that we have to use is the same. Kasi there is no more time physically, personally, to have a contact with the learner to explain it just for his own consumption and understanding. So do not make it too long. Do not make it too complex. For science oriented schools, just like Mandaluyong City Science High School and Doña Pilar, and to other intellectual learners. These are good, but always no Mandaleño is left behind. So we have to really cater the module that we have to prepare to all learners of different, assuming that they have the same learning and comprehending ability. Number 7, is the language appropriate for the target readers? So number 6, number 5, and number 7 are interrelated. So we have to be choosy on the words that we are going to use because we have to ask, is the language appropriate or not for the target learners? Always, majority belong to the non-slow average learners. Next slide, please, sir. Okay, pasensya na po, tabingi talaga ang camera na aking Tab Pro. Next that we are going to focus in is grammar and syntax. This is very bloody, madugo. But we have to check the module or the materials for the following. Number 1, very elementary. Agreement between subject and verb. Okay, that's why many of our students would say, I love English. Maria love English. My parents love English. My friends loves English. So as teachers of English, it is very, very simple. Always locate for the subject and the verb. But when we teach, we don't tell them the subject, we don't tell them the verb. How can we elicit? Through questions. Number 2, misplaced modifiers. Now, this is again bloody. Misplaced modifier. Do you want me to give you one example? Okay, Sir JD, meron ba na nagbibigay ng comment? or mamaya na lang sa breakout session. Misplaced modifier. Modifiers are adjectives. Remember, modifiers are adjectives. Any word, words, phrase, or clause, and even a sentence that would describe, that would explain a concept or a simple noun or a simple pronoun, they are modifiers. Be careful with the positions of modifiers. We have to go back to the positions of adjectives. For teachers of English, we have been taught by our former educators on how to do this. So there are 7 columns if we are going to follow strictly the proper positioning of modifiers in a sentence. Number 3, we have to check unclear antecedents. Okay, to what word, what does the word him refer to in sentence 1? What does she refer to as used in sentence blank? They, as used in sentence blank, refers to blank. Yun po ang ating unclear antecedents. 4, very difficult but challenging. We have to check under grammar and syntax, faulty parallel construction. Before we do or we go to language validation, my dear teachers of English and other language experts from other learning areas, please review parallelism. O para tayo, 2 is to 2, 4 is to blank. So parallelism, word is parallel to. A clause is parallel to. So, series of words, parallel. Series of words plus another word, parallel. But you use adjective, then you switch to adverb, they are not parallel. Number 6, overuse of certain words. In short, nakakaumay na. Paulit-ulit, paulit-ulit. So, try to check if one word had been used in this paragraph, maybe once or twice or thrice, still okay pa siya. Pero pagdating sa another paragraph, eto na naman si the same word. Try to suggest another word to replace that overused word. But always remember the reading ability, the comprehensibility, the comprehension ability of the readers and the learners. Readability and the choice of words, diction. Number 7, again, paulit-ulit o halos pare-pareho ang pattern ng mga sentences, wala man lang modification, wala man lang switching from one style, one format to the other. Let us avoid that. Let us check redundancies in our modules. Next, please. Parang ang bagal ko. Okay, next, please. Okay, spelling and punctuation. We have to, remember, we have to be very careful. We have to be very scholarly in using, and of course, in editing and validating the use of punctuation marks as well as the spelling of words. Again, consistency is the key. If we use, as module writers, my dear, module writers from all learning areas, even kinder included, we have to decide, since our orientation of the English language is American or Americanized English, focus in there. Huwag na tayong mag-switch sa British. Okay, iba pa social, pa-organization, organization. Kapag sinabing division, division. Pag nag-oral, organization, good, American. Pag nag-organization, oral, aba nag-British ka ini. So, bawal po ang switching from one spelling to another. Kaya pag ginamit mo, when you use behavior without the you, all throughout your module, use the same spelling. Baka naman nag-British ka, nag-OUR ka. or ikaw naman nag-enrollment, nag-single L ka na, at without your knowing it, baka maybe slip of the pen or slip of the keyboard na double. So let us be very careful. So how are we going to check? These are the questions. Number 1, obritation. Are words, whether local or foreign, correctly spelled? Okay, pwede po natin ito. May mga, there are sometimes exceptions. That's why I always object kapag may nagsasabi. In every rule, there is an objection. Opinion ko lang. We changed it, language teachers. In some rules, there are exemptions. Again, I simply do not believe that in all rules, there are exceptions. I changed it. In some rules, there are exemptions. Are words. Exemptions are if we are using texts in text coming from other literature. Ginamit natin siya, huwag tayong magtaka sa spelling because that was used as a springboard. Mga kapatid na nagva-validate, kapag yung text po, wala tayong karapatang baguhin yon, lalo't may reference at may source po doon. Yung language questions, the way they frame questions, the sentences, doon po tayo papasok. Halimbawa, pag nag-AP tayo, may gamit na AP text, iba yung mga English niya. At yun naman ay from a very reliable source, patawad po siya. Okay, number 2. Are the right punctuations? Are the right punctuations in the right places or are the punctuations placed properly? Okay, punctuation marks, quotation marks, slash, semicolon, colon, especially colon, semicolon, question, period, comma. All of these are very confusing. So we really have to be very strict, my dear validators. Number 3, is the use of the serial comma or comma before and or observed? Okay, when do we use a comma? If there are only 2 series of words, series of adjectives, clauses, or even compound sentences, dalawa lang, wala po munang comma. Pero pag pangatlo na at bago sa dulo, doon po tayo maglalagay ng comma. For example, Rambel, comma, Restituto, comma, and Caesar are bullies. Oh, sorry sir, yun lang pumasok sa akin. But when it is said, example, Caesar not sure, and Restituto Rodelas are bully friends. So there is no comma. Nakasingit din, nakaganti. Okay, next po, number 4. Nakakatuwa lang mga kapatid. Okay, second life natin ito. Number 4. So write your comments, my dear validators. Write your comments and findings in the margins of the modules. Margins of the modules or module while examining the LR. So when we check, when we validate whether we are thinking in advance that the writer is almost perfect, ganun pa man, sa tabi natin, katabi natin ang ating margin of modules, yung template ng ating pag-i-edit, ng ating pagko-comments, katabi po yon. And as mentioned again, highlight the portion that needs to be improved or that needs to be revised or where the error is found. So highlight. Then, specify comments, findings, and recommendations beside the highlighted portion to guide the development team in revising the LR. Again, specify your comments, your findings, and recommendations. Number 5, it is still our task. Reread your written marginal notes and validate or confirm your comments, findings, or to make needed changes in order that your review may be as consistent and as thorough as possible. So there is no one-time checking. Go back, review, read, reread, because our task is very difficult. Yung mali ng module, yung kagandahan ng module depends on the module writer and of course on the language as well as content validators. Hindi po pwedeng ihiwalay si content and language because as mentioned earlier by the other speakers, sometimes we have to collaborate with the content and the language because sometimes you might contradict what is written in the content. Wala po tayong karapatan. Magtanong muna tayo, bakit ito ganito? Okay, so let's go on. Number 6, please. Based on your marginal notes, prepare a summary of findings. Findings report to indicate the errors found in a module or modules and the recommended revisions. Again, always by your side, andoon yung template on how to validate. On your marginal notes, prepare a summary of finding reports. So use the summary of findings template in Annex 1, which is in the last part of my presentation. Number 7, after individual evaluation of each LR, immediately, wag na pong ipa next week. Okay, immediately submit each ADM module with marginal comments and the duly accomplished summary report on the staggered basis. Kung ano yung part na natapos, ibigay po agad. Huwag pong hintayin matapos ang buo module. Kung yun ay 30 pages, tulad ng English, pinababa na nakita ko ay 21 pages, but I would say and proudly say, they are very good module writers. So, ibigay po agad. Number 8, anchor ng show. Number 8, if deemed necessary, discuss your report with the development team. Very good. Discuss, but not personally, virtual, through chat, through meeting, or focal persons to clarify findings and agree on the revisions and improvements to be made in modules evaluated. We are not content experts. So sometimes the language, the words that we use, that we are going to edit, is really that language needed in that or used in that particular language area. Kaya we have to clarify this, discuss with the content editor. Okay, that ends my presentation. Now, I would request my partner, my technical expert, to show the template now. Sir JD, the template please, para matapos na ako. Okay, mga kapatid. Pakitaas pa po, sir. Okay, eto na po mga kapatid. Okay, teachers of English, special mention talaga kasi miss ko kayo, and all teachers of Mandaluyong, I miss you all. Okay, here's the summary of language findings for Deaf and Developed Learning Resources, ADM modules template. Okay, Ma'am Rox presented almost the same. So the title of the module, grade level, light blue, color coding for English. The writer or the module writer, illustrator, kung meron tayo po na illustrator, baka andyan po si Sir, andyan po si Ma'am Raranga, you are highly recommended. And Sir Henry, hindi ko pa po nasasabi kasi po huli na po si Ma'am Raranga, but congratulations. At ipapaalam ko din po live with more than 1,200 viewers, Sir Ariston Daganyo, ikaw po ang nire-request ko, sir. Thank you. Okay, ito na po. Illustrators po sila sa English. Okay, wala na kasi si Larry Arcala, tigok na. Okay, first column, mga kapatid. paragraph, line, page, or the number wherein you found comments, corrections, revisions, or what else? What is that? Maybe your harsh comments sometimes. Sometimes you have to be harsh to produce perfect output. Second column, there should be a brief description of errors. Okay, brief description of the findings and observations so that the module writer will will clearly understand why did you edit, check, or put an X on that particular item. The last, what are your specific recommendations for improvement? Again, for improvement. Bawal pong maging we are educators, we are in a school. We don't work in an abattoir. O abattoir is addiction. Abattoir in a simple term, slaughterhouse. Kaya wag naman nating katayin ng katayin. At wala tayong karapatan. We don't have any right to katay the content. Language lang po. But if you found out that there are other comments or recommendations that can never be accommodated in the above mentioned 3 columns, you may do so. So prepared by signature over your name, Ramon Mercado Bilardo Jr. Date accomplished, blank. Okay, that's all. See you later, my dear teachers of English. Sarang hamidabo. Magandang umaga po sa inyong lahat. Miss you all. Sakit sa batok.
Wow, nakamask ka na, Sir J.
Bakit naman may kalansing ng ice cream? Overtime na nga. Thank you.
Alright, so maraming salamat, Sir Rambel, sa iyong presentation. Where is your video? Nag-mask ako kasi umuubo-ubo si Sir Rambel.
Grabe.
On air?
COVID-free na po
on
ako.
air.
Second life na ito. Grabe kayo.
Okay. Again, thank you, Sir Rumble, for explaining and guiding us on how to be an effective and efficient language validator or editor. Natutuwa daw po sila sa mga examples ninyo. Sir JD, bago ang... Sorry. Okay, Sir JD, bago ang lahat, gusto lang po nating batiin yung ilang mga head teachers natin. Nandiyan si Ma'am Bulanday. Hello daw po sa mga taga-IB, Sir Alegre, address all in webinar. Ma'am Tamayo of Mahes. Also, we have our Assistant Principal, Sir Biernes of Mandaluyong High School. Head teachers. Okay, Sir Laguerta nandyan. Dr. Agnes Alegre, the head teacher, Science of ABIS. Ma'am Rosabel Aguinaldo. Hello daw sa lahat ng science educators and other divisions na nakikinig sa atin. We have from Valenzuela and Las Piñas. Baka may nakita ka pa, sir.
Alright, so far wala pa naman. Okay, so we must continue na dahil baka maabutan tayo ng lunch break. So, may I introduce the next speaker po? And I think ready na siya. Nag-aantay na ang kanyang video. Okay, our next speaker. Okay, kung credentials lang din naman ang labanan. Ayan. Okay. Our next speaker is a salutatorian in his elementary days back in the 1980s. Back in the 1980s. Ayan. Deaf in math when he was high school.
Pero hindi halata.
He graduated from Rizal Technological University and with Bachelor of Secondary Education major in Mathematics. He finished his Master of Science in Mathematics Education in the Ateneo de Manila University. And he is currently taking Doctor of Philosophy in Mathematics Education in the Central Escolar University. He attended several local and international conferences. In fact, he published an article in the Simeo Rexham Journal entitled Remediation plus Extensive Utilization of Numeric Tool, and it was published in 2015. Ladies and gentlemen, our education program supervisor for mathematics, Mr. Restituto I. Rodela.
Hello, thank you, JD. Thank you, Sir Jet. Naninibago ako, no? Ito pala yung isa sa mukha ng new normal. So, pwedeng formal ka sa taas, bahala ka na sa baba, meron o wala. So, maraming salamat, Sir JD and Sir Jet. So, bago po ako magsimula ng aking presentation, gusto ko lang pong ibahagi sa inyo ang napakahalagang mensahe. Sa bagong hamon na ating hinaharap, gaano man ho ito kahirap o gaano man ito kabigat, hahamakin natin ang lahat para sa ating mga mag-aaral, matupad lang nila ang kanilang mga pangarap. Isang magandang umaga po at pagbati sa ating newly promoted Assistant Schools Division Superintendent, Dr. Romela M. Cruz. Good morning, ma'am. Sa ating napakasipag na Chief Education Supervisor, Ma'am Aline, hindi na natutulog sa sipag, kaya kami ay hindi na rin natutulog. Joke lang po yun, ma'am. Sa ating ang ating inang, ang ina ng lahat, no? Ma'am Emma Arubio, SGOD Chief, sa aking mga kapwa supervisors, sa ating mga school heads na talagang supportive sa lahat ng aktibidades ng ating division. At sa mga guro na nanonood ngayon, lalong-lalo na sa mga math teachers, mga guro na sipnayan, masisipag, at sa mga guro ng practical research too na under din sa aking supervision. Magandang umaga po sa inyo lahat. Sa Sir JD, isi-share ko lang yung screen, ha. Yan. Okay po ba, Sir JD? Okay. So again, good morning po sa lahat. Actually, most of the guidelines covered by this tool were presented already by the previous presenters. May mga na-mention na po si Ma'am Ruby, may mga na-mention na rin si Ma'am Roxanne and Sir Rambel. So I will make it simple na lang po para kung may mga confusions pa dun sa paggamit ng tools, sana makatulong itong presentation ko para mas maintindihan po lalo. Okay? So this is the evaluation tool for layout and design. Under this evaluation tool, we have the 4 factors. Makikita niyo po yan, yung 4 factors natin. We have the physical attributes. Number 2, we have the design and layout. Number 3 is typographical organization, which I think it was presented already by Ma'am Ruby. And the visuals. Under each factor, mayroon po yung mga criterion items na mamaya ipapakita ko po isa-isa. So, syempre, napakabigat po ng tungkulin ng mga evaluators, validators, at syempre, ganun na rin yung mga writers. So, kailangan maintindihan natin paano ba talaga mag-evaluate ng isang LR materials. So, the following are the guidelines and steps for us to do the quality control on the learning materials regarding layout and design. So ito po will guide us through the process to see whether the materials are in compliance with the tool set for this evaluation. So number 1, makikita nyo po yung first instruction dyan. It is very important for us to scan through every page of the materials to make sure that it adheres with the standard set by the criteria. So, kailangan po talaga as evaluator, basahin natin page by page, cover to cover. Put a check mark in the appropriate column inside each criterion item. Kung sa tingin nyo ay nag-comply doon sa criterion item, check nyo po yung yes. And then kapag hindi, no po ang ilagay ninyo. And then mamaya po, I will be presenting also the summary, the attached summary findings and review form para malaman natin paano ba tayo mag-recommend. Kung yan ba ay for revision, for major revision, minor, or for field evaluation na. Right not applicable or NA for criterion items that does not apply in the LR evaluated. So kung sa tingin ninyo may isang criterion doon, hindi naman siya applicable do sa LR evaluated, so lagyan po natin ng NA. So based on the number of criterion items, mark yes. Under each factor, mark the appropriate column to indicate if the LR complied or not to the standard. At ito po yung pinakahuli, what if nga mayroong hindi naman applicable doon sa criterion items, ano bang gagawin natin? So that count the total applicable criterion items and multiply this with 70% to determine the cutoff for compliance. So ito po yung example. Bibigyan ko kayo, kukuha ako ng isang factor, yung design and layout, then ipapakita ko paano tayo magre-rate o evaluate ng LR. Yan. Mapansin nyo po, yung design and layout, mayroon siyang 6 criterion items. And nakalagay dun sa baba, kailangan at least 4 items o criterion items ang mamark na yes para masabing nag-comply ito dun sa standard ng evaluation tool. Now, if criterion item number 3, for example, is not applicable, hindi po pwede yung criterion item number 3 para dun sa learning resource. Mababawasan tayo ng isa. So, 5 na lang. Instead na 6 ang ating criterion items, magiging 5 na lang po yon. And then yung 5 na yon, imumultiply po natin by 70%. So I think ang sagot ay 3.5. Round off natin 4. So at least 4 criterion items pa rin ang kailangan natin para mag-comply yung LR doon sa design and layout. Okay? So kung halimbawa po, pag multiply nyo by 70% from 6, naging ano na lang, naging 3 na lang. So mababawasan po yung ating minimum required criterion items, hindi na yung 4, magiging 3 na lang po yon. So yun po yung ibig sabihin ng last instruction. Okay? So sabi nga, sa LR may batas. Ang materials, bawal lumabas o bawal ilabas. Pero pag nag-comply ka at na-meet mo yung maximum number of criterion items na required doon sa standard na yon, ay pwede mo na po itong ilabas. Pero kung ang na-meet mo lang po ay minimum criterion items at may recommendation ang LR evaluator for revision, ay gagawin mo po ito. Aayusin nyo po ito base sa batas ng LR at isinabmit mo uli at na-meet mo na, na-comply mo na yung maximum number of criterion items, pwede na uli itong ilabas. So yun po yun. Yun ang ibig sabihin nung pag-check o pag-evaluate ng ating LR o activity materials. Okay, so again, as I've said, there are 4 factors under this evaluation tool. The first factor is the physical attributes. Paano ba natin i-check yung physical attribute ng isang LR? So we have to check the cover page, the front matter pages, the inside pages, and the back matter pages. So kung titingnan nyo po yung mga criterion items na nakalagay dito, the overall look of all pages are equally important. The cover page, for instance, must be creative in a way that can attract learners and begin to stimulate them in going further through the pages. Pag gumawa tayo ng cover page, yung something naman na makukuha natin yung interest ng babasa. Kasi kung sa page pa lang, napaka kumbaga, walang dating yung page hindi ganun ka-creative yung page design. Alam mo, yung mga bata o yung mga readers natin, yung mga learners, minsan ayaw nilang basahin yung materials. And relevant in a way that the design is aligned with the lessons and the level of the learners. Siyempre, kung ano yung grade level, dapat relevant yung ating cover page. Kung bata yan, huwag tayong maglagay ng matured na photos doon o cover. Interesting in such a way that it can arouse curiosity on the part of the learners. So lahat po itong criteria nito under factor 1 should be observed to achieve the overall unique personality of the materials. Napaka-importante na mas ma-observe natin sa cover page pa lang o yung lahat ng pages na nandito. So magbigay po ako ng example, tapos cover page ng isang module. Tingnan natin kung tama ba yung ginamit niyang cover photo doon. Ito po, ang title ng module, ito ay gawa-gawa ko lamang po ha. Walang ganitong module. Module 1, tamang ehersisyo. Grade 1. Sa tingin ko po ay hindi akma ang cover photo na ginamit para dun sa module. Kung grade 1 po ang gagamit ng module. Siguro kung ang magbabasa nito ay AP supervisor, Sir Nacho, pwede siguro. So ang grade 1 hindi pwede, no? So yun po yung ibig sabihin. Ito naman, module 1, tamang ehersisyo grade 1. Parang hindi rin to akma sa level ng learners. So ang tingin ko pwede nito ITO si Sir JD. Pwede niyang gamitin tong module. Pero I think sa bata, hindi po ito pwede, no? Hindi akma ang cover page doon sa level ng learners natin. Module 1, tamang ito po ang akma. So makikita ninyo, napaka-interesting nung ating cover photo. Yung picture, masaya yung mga bata. So pag nakita ito ng bata, siyempre, nandun yung ma-attract silang basahin yung material. Okay? So ito po yon. Design and layout. No? For design and layout, makikita nyo po dyan, mayroong 6 criterion item. So basahin nating maigi, nandiyan, nakasulat naman po. Pero ang pinakang keyword dito, do sa first criterion item, is consistency. Ano yung sinasabing consistency? It is very important also to avoid confusion on the part of the learners. Mahirap po na malito yung mga learners natin. If you use a particular style, for example, from the beginning, it has to be consistent all throughout. Say, for example po, yung icons and illustration. It should be consistent from beginning to end. Kung halimbawa, mayroon kang title ng activity sa math, ang title ng activity mo ay Take the Challenge. Ang ginamit mong icon, yung parang thinking icon na nag-iisip. Pagdating doon sa isang module mo, meron ka uling ganong activity, dapat yun pa rin ang icon na gagamitin ninyo. Huwag nating bigyan, iba-ibahin yung mga icons na ginagamit. It will bring confusion to the learners. It has to be simple, yet attractive. And another thing is that yung mga unnecessary graphics that could distract the learners. Oo, wag tayo maglagay ng mga graphics na masyadong madidistract yung learners, no? At especially kung hindi naman to related dun sa text or dun sa content na ginagawa natin. There must be an adequate illustrations because we need to consider our visual learners. Many of our learners learn better with adequate illustration. So kung yung iba po sa atin kasi may mga differentiated instruction ang dating. Parang may iba-iba yan, style of learning, iba-iba ang mga bata. So may mga visual learners tayo, kailangan natin ng isang malinaw at maayos na illustration. Then the elements must blend together as one. Tanda po natin, say the illustration should be parallel with text. Yung sinasabi ko kanina, gumawa ka ng illustration, hindi naman tugma doon sa text na isinulat mo, iwasan po natin yon. So, illustration should be parallel with text. And of course, it has to be suitable for target users. Ayun po. So, kapag naka-4 po dyan, out of 6, complied po siya. Kapag hindi, kapag mayroong not applicable, bawasan yung bilang ng criterion items, multiply sa 70%, yun na lang po ang magiging minimum criterion items. This one was presented already by Ma'am Ruby Banikad kanina sa presentation niya, yung typographical organization. So our learners are from primary to senior high school. In this regard, typographical organization should be appropriate. Allow me to present to you, no, yung present ni Ma'am Ruby kanina, the standard font style, font size, and text suitable and recommended for every grade level. Ayan po. Ayan. So, sa grade 1, nakalagay naman dyan yung recommended font family natin, Century Gothic, body text plus left. Ito yung sinasabi diyang body text. Yan yung, kung makikita nyo sa Word, pag gumawa kayo, may alignment. Center, align to the right, align to the left. Yun po. So, pag grades 1, K to 3, iwasan natin yung mag-justify para hindi naiiwasan yung mga hyphenations. Naghihiwa-hiwa na yung mga salita. No, ang recommended dyan is body text plus left or right. Yan po yung ating recommended font family para sa grade K to 3. Sa grade 4 naman, up to hanggang sa gamit ng teacher's guide. So we will use Times New Roman or Bookman Old Style, body text justified. So ito po yung naka-justify na. Okay? Balikan natin yung factor number 4. Lang po. Nawala yung factor number 4. Ito po yung 4. Nagdoble yung entry ko. Sorry, hindi ko na yun. Ayan, visuals. 4 po yan, paumanhin. Hindi ko na. Factor 4 po yan. For visuals, as I've said a while ago, we have many visual learners, di ba? And with this respect, lahat po ng criteria in factor 4 should be consistently observed. Yan, yung supplement the text hanggang dun po sa number 13. To supplement the text is imperative, no? If there is a need for more illustrations, pictures, graphs, or tables to deepen the learning process, then it should be done. Kung kinakailangan ng mga illustration, ng mga tables para mas maintindihan ng mga learners natin, yung mga visual learners natin, kailangan po nating ilagay yon. To clarify concept to further comprehension, we can reiterate po yung concepts of repeatedly in the page design. Parang halimbawa po, the content should be clear in detail. Say, we can explain concept mo on the upper part of the page. Meron na tayong concept doon, na explanation tayo ng concept doon sa upper part of the page, and further, explain it at the bottom. May mga ganun po tayong style ng materials. In-explain na natin sa taas, tapos parang may mas pinalalim pa yung explanation sa bottom page. So, pwede po natin gawin yon to deepen the process of learning para sa mga bata. The content should be clear and detailed po. So, materials should be contextualized to be relevant to learners. We have to consider the culture, yun po yung social orientation, life situation, social status, and most importantly, the age of the learners. Napaka-importante po na i-consider natin yun. So the illustration content and design must be parallel with the said consideration. The rest of the criteria are self-explanatory. Makikita naman po natin dyan. Ha? So, ito po yung summary of layout and design findings para doon sa evaluation tool natin. Si evaluator, lalagay niya yung title of the LR, anong grade level, tapos yung mga comment po niya dyan, o observations, ilalagay niya kung anong page, okay? Or kung anong paragraph yun. So, yun po yung pinaka-summary. Ha? And then dito, si LR, si evaluator, magre-recommend siya. I-check niya kung yung LR ba ay for minor revision, for major revision, or for field validation. So, minor revision po kung sa lahat ng factors, lahat ng criterions, na-meet niya yung minimum. When you say minimum, halimbawa, at least 4. So, na-meet niya yung 4. Kung out of 6 yan, na-meet niya yung 4. So, sa lahat ng factors, na-meet niya yung minimum. Ibig sabihin nun, minor revision. The material is found compliant to the minimum requirement. So, kailangang i-revise uli ni writer. Ayusin yung mga recommendation, summary of findings, correction, and review ng mga LR evaluator. And then, ibabalik uli for final validation. Yung major revision naman po, wala po itong this material not compliant to the requirements in one or more factors. So, wala po talaga ito, hindi ito nakamit dun sa minimum, sa kahit aling factors doon. Wala siyang na-meet na minimum required number of criterion items. So, major revision po ang recommendation dito ng LR evaluator. So, and then, itong last, for field validation, the material is found compliant to all factors with no correction. Ito po yung na-meet lahat ng LR, yung maximum criterion items na yes lahat ang mark ng evaluator. So, kung yun po ay maximum na, syempre, obviously, wala na pong recommendation dito o wala na pong mga errors or for improvement na recommendation ng ating mga LR evaluator. So, yan po ang evaluation tool natin for layout and design. I hope nakapagbigay linaw po ito sa lahat. Yung iba naman po ay nabanggit na ng ating mga magagaling na speakers kanina. At ito po ay sana ay nakadagdag kaalaman o tulong doon sa mga katanungan sa inyo. So again, magandang umaga po sa inyo lahat at maraming salamat po.
Alright, so maraming salamat, Sir Resty. Where is my partner? Sir Jet. Okay. So thank you so much. Sir, ayan. Hi, Sir Jet.
Ayan.
Okay.
Thank you, Sir Resty.
Thank you.
Sa ating pong 1,068 participants, we will now have our Q&A portion. And ipapasok po natin ulit ang ating 4 na speakers. So, unahin na po natin si Dr. Ruby. And then si Ms. Roxanne. And then si Sir Rambel and si Sir Resty. Okay. So sa ating pong mga participants, if you have any questions, just put it in the comment section and we will try to flash your question and ask our speakers to answer it.
Hey, Dave.
Ayan, so Sir Resty, sabi ni Ma'am Abutal, thank you Sir Resty and congratulations.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you po.
Nasaan ang video mo, sir?
Ay, wait lang. Thank you po, ma'am. Thank you po, ma'am Abutan.
Alright, so sa atin po mga teachers, baka may tanong po kayo. Okay? Sa ating pong mga education program supervisors. We will have 15 minutes Q&A portion.
Yan. Tanong na po tayo habang nandito po ang ating mga dalubhasa. Sir JD.
Alright, pati si Sir Joseph Alegre from Atres, Sir Resty, nag-congratulate sa'yo.
Thank you, Sir Joseph. Maraming salamat.
Okay? So, halos lahat po ay nagpapasalamat. Okay, so again, okay. So Ma'am Ruby, I think this is for you. This is a feedback rather than the question. Ayan.
Okay.
Ito yung teaching sharks. Feedback lang po rather than a question. Medyo scary po ang timeline. So, any response to this, Ma'am Ruby?
Yes, Starks? From Starks po ba yan? Team Starks?
Yes po.
Feedback
Yes.
question. Medyo scary po ang timeline. Actually, na-adjust po yan dahil during the meeting, online meeting with the RD, yan po yung sinuggest niya kasi baka po daw ma-shorten po yung oras natin for production and distribution. So, ganito naman po, pag in case ang module na naka-assign sa inyo ay 2 or 3, kung ano yung natapos nyo, isubmit nyo po agad for the QA para at least yun po ang uunahin natin na ma-print kung ito ay camera ready or for printing.
Okay. Sir Jet, pakibasa yung question.
Okay, from Marilyn Abalos, when is downloaded image from Google not plagiarized for this for Dr. Baniket?
Okay, dito sa Google from Marilyn Abalos. Okay, pag nag-search po kayo ng pictures, ipipindot nyo po dun sa tools. May tools po doon. And then may mag-appear po doon na it is ready for use, it is basta may mga nakalagay doon na it is intended for use, intended to copy, pwede naman po yun. Huwag lang po tayong mag-harvest ng images na may copyrighted. Meaning, may watermark po yun. May mga free images naman po.
Okay. From Ma'am Floreline Escultura, yung output po ba for the consumption of all schools?
Yes po. Dahil po yun ay, kayo po ay inassign for learning area. You are the division writers. Ibig sabihin, nakaalat po ang bawat schools para sa gagawin nating module.
Sir Jet?
From Junili Dotado, ang gagawa po ba ng modules ay ang LR team lang po? I think this is for Ma'am Baniket.
Okay. Kung kayo po ay member ng LR team, so kailangan po kayong gumawa. Pero kung kayo po ay participant dito sa ating webinar, pwede po kayong gumawa ng module. Okay, for your own consumption sa school. At the same time, meron po kasi kami ditong, masasabi ko na tuloy, about project aral na kung saan ang mga teachers ay gagawa ng activity sheets dun sa mga teachers na hindi writer ng module. And the template will be also forwarded to you, ma'am. Sa mga teachers.
From a senior high school teacher from Addition Hills Integrated School, Ma'am Eileen Rabasto. Good morning po. Paano po yung wala po sa MELC like PLE Senior High School po?
Ma'am Fe, parang para sa'yo to. Paano po yung wala po sa MELCS like PLE Senior High School? Okay, andito po si Ma'am Fe. Opo. Kasi content na yan kaya kay Ma'am Fe na po.
Good morning to everyone. Regarding po doon sa mga courses ng PLE, tomorrow we'll have meeting with the central office clarify all the issues and concerns of TLE as regards to the courses offering for both for junior high school and senior high school. Thank you.
Okay, ayan. So,
Ayan, buti
ganyan po
buti sa
ka-advance ng technology namin sa Division of Mandaluyong, no?
Agad-agad.
designated EPS, EPL, EPP.
Alright. So, okay. So, naghahanap lang po ako ng mga questions dito.
Ito, yung
Pero yata,
Mateo.
Yung mga tao, si Sir Ramden. Pakita ko lang yung message ni Sir Jet. Can you please read the message of Ma'am Joy?
This is from Jocelyn Tamayo, the principal of Mahes. Congratulations, Dr. Biba Niked, Ma'am Roxanne Villanueva, Sir Resty, and Sir Rambel. Wow.
Thank you. Thank you po.
Alright. Okay, I think this is from Ma'am Bal. Question, which should be checked
Yes.
first, content or grammar?
Okay, the first one to check is the content. Content muna tayo. Content validation. After the content, then susunod na natin ang language and the layout and design or the format.
Ayan, naririnig sila Ma'am Jean Castrense sa background. Okay.
Andito ang powerhouse.
Sir Jet?
Ayan, ito from Ma'am Erlinda Aguilion. Suggestions, may samples ba ng modules? Sana may samples sa modules dapat per subject area para may reference.
Mamaya, sa ano?
Yan ang sagot siya mamaya.
Meron po
Mamaya.
per learning area.
May presentation naman may breakout session.
May-meet nyo po ang
Yes.
kanya-kanyang EPS ninyo. Magbibigay po ng instructions si Sir JD.
JD, pwede bang bigyan ng allowance nyo mamaya mag-lunch muna?
Yes po, opo. We will have announcement for that after the Q&A. So from
sige. Thank
Lowan
you.
Maleta, thank you po, SDO Mandaluyong. I have a question po regarding module writers. Kasama po ba ang teacher 1 sa paggawa ng module?
Yes. Yes po. Basta
Yes,
magaling.
kung siya ay kasama
Everybody
doon
is
sa pinili
welcome.
ng EPS.
Writer.
Kahit
Kung kasama
hindi,
siya sa
kasi
LR development team. So,
suggestion
regardless
lang
kung
po.
anong item niya, kasama siya.
Sir, pwede naman siguro kung gusto at committed kasi only 5 teachers were asked kasi maraming sobrang magagaling. Baka yung pwede naman gusto, we would like to encourage and welcome them.
Yes.
Pwede naman. Kung may mga replacement, siguro.
Sir Jet?
Yes, from Nacionales. There are some teachers who are doing who are doing LR materials. However, not included in the SDO LR writer team. Can
Welcome
they
sila.
submit the LR materials?
Yes. Yes po.
Yes daw. Ma'am Baniked, may sagot ka rin?
Kasi nakaatado na yung paggawa, di ba, ng module. Ang mga EPS ay may kanya-kanya ng inassign, tapos mayroon ding module number or based on sa MELCS. So better to coordinate with the EPS muna para at least ma-assign sa inyo kung ano yung assigned na module for you. Kasi baka mag-duplicate kapag gumawa kayo tapos meron na palang naka-assign. Okay?
From Mr. Marlon Zulweta, same po ba ang LR writers from 1st to 4th grading or iba naman po for 2nd grading to 4th?
Pwede naman siguro yan, Sir JD, kasi para yung iba na willing namang maging writers o sulat, pwede siguro tayong magpalit ng writers list break pattern. Maganda rin naman yun.
Yes,
Para yung
yes.
iba na willing, na gusto rin makapagsulat, may isama naman natin. Since limited lang yung ating members ng LR development team. So, ganun.
Okay.
Okay lang yan.
Yes.
Pwede naman siguro.
May question
Pag-uusapan natin
tayo,
sa CID.
Priority
may
lang yung
question
first.
tayo, Sir Jet, para kay Sir Rambel.
Okay, sa English template na pinakita, pwede po bang mapalitan yung sequence? Instead na nasa unahan ng concept or discussion, etc., introduction ng ilagay, then after ng review ang concept, this, etc. Ang haba. Parang
Okay.
lahat sila pwede sumagot.
Okay, in my honest
English.
opinion, the answer would be yes. Kasi I am always giving each teacher a chance to show his or her creativity kasi we are developing the 5 Cs. Pero we have to be guided kung ano yung mga parts. So sinasabi niya kung pwede bang instead na nasa unahan ang concept, okay din naman yon kasi in everything that we do, there is an introduction. See to it na yung how are you going, yung concept mo, ay yung introduction mo, ay leading na doon sa iyong concept. Kasi doon nga papasok yung creativity ni teacher, yung kanyang magiging skillful ni teacher. Pwede naman yon at sinasabi ko po na at I suggested this to the group na instead of may mga times that instead of having checking for understanding, inislas ko po siya. So instead of checking for understanding, reflection. Kasi may mga magaganda rin naman yung reflection sometimes doon sa mga lessons, especially pag literary type ang lesson. Yun lang po sa akin, no problem. Basta all parts are there, kung magkapalit man, at least very connected doon sa isa.
Okay,
Gracias.
question for Sir Resty from Jenny Lucatulong. Sir Resty, for the format and layout, if the revisions are very minimal or slight, like mali lang sa font size, is it okay if direct na i-correct ni layout evaluator?
Yes, ma'am. Kasi meron naman tayong kahit pa sabihing minimal lang yan, subject pa rin po revision yan. So, i-correct pa rin yan ng ating validator assigned doon sa LR materials na yan. So, kahit pa po minimal, ang usapan natin, magiging lang yan for field evaluation kung talagang wala ni isang error doon sa LR materials.
Alright. Sir Jet, may question tayo para kay Ma'am Roxanne. Sir Jet, pabasa.
From Ma'am Kasuga, good day po from Abis. Regarding po dun sa icon na gagamitin, as in ganun po ba ang gagamitin kagaya nung sa template or pwede po gumamit ng iba? This is for Ma'am Roxanne.
Yes, for Ma'am Roxanne.
Okay na? Here.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes, ma'am.
Yes, yung template kasi, yung icons included in the template represent the 5Cs that are to be integrated in different parts of the code. So, these are uniform siya for all learning areas, for all grade levels in our division. So, yes, yun yung gagamitin. And nandun yung template that you will be receiving later. Tama?
Okay.
Pwede ako magsabi,
Sige po,
magsalita
Ma'am
lang.
Ruby.
I would like to thank Ma'am Julian Esparagosa and Ma'am Rachel Bien for the icons. Sila po ang originally draw ng ating icons for the 5Cs. And for our cover page, i-attribute naman po natin yan kay Sir Nemesio Cancan. Thank you, friend. Thank you sa inyong tatlo.
Okay, I think Ma'am Ruby, you can also answer this. Ask ko lang from Ma'am Elizabeth Mateo. Good morning po. Ask ko lang po
Yes.
kailan mag-review yung template ng mga icons ng 5Cs.
Okay. So, dadagdag ko doon sa files ng LR files na nakalagay doon sa Google Drive. Kung based doon sa memo, may bit.ly po tayo doon, may links para ma-access nyo po at ma-download yung mga files na ginamit ngayon. So, idadagdag ko po doon yung mga icons.
Alright. So, it's 12 o'clock already and If you have any further questions po, you may send a personal message po sa ating pong mga speakers, or mamaya po sa breakout sessions, pwede pong sagutin ng inyong respective EPSS ang inyong mga tanong. So may gusto pong sabihin ng ating Chief Education Supervisor, Dr. Aline G. Mendoza. Ma'am, welcome back.
Yes. Thank you, Sir Jedy. Thank you. Congratulations sa ating lahat na speakers, Ma'am Ruby, Ma'am Roxanne, Sir Rumble, Sir Resty, at sa ating magagaling na facilitator, Sir Jedy and Sir Jet. Of course, sa lahat na nag-participate sa mga questions na I hope or we hope we cleared all those things. But hopefully, you have more discussion during the breakout sessions. Ang link will be given to the clustered group by learning area supervisors. And I think mayroon na kayo mga link dito through your technical assistants assigned per learning area. So doon ko nagsabi na module sample na needed nila, yes, we will have our module presentation sample of module per learning area per cluster na. So time check is 12:02. So nag-exceed na tayo. We will be transferring to another link, Google Meet this time. You will meet your group, your clustered group per learning area. So please, supervisors, take it away. Carry on the tasks given. So again, congratulations sa inyong lahat sa CID House Power of SDO. Of course, the SDO family headed by Ma'am Romela Cruz. Sa lahat ng suporta from SDO family, Ma'am Emma Rubio, and all the school heads around until 12 o'clock, andito pa sila. And may I also request or maybe ask the principals to visit all the links para makita niyo po yung mga learning areas. Kasi pag tayo po ay naubusan ng mga validators, hindi natin makatch yung lahat ng dami na ginawa ng ating mga writers, for sure you will be tapped as our validators. So to our school heads, please have the link also to participate doon sa mga breakout sessions. So the links will be given to us by Sir JV later on. So yes, supervisors, please carry on, take over. So during the breakout session. Thank you and congratulations everyone. Thank you participants, thank you writers, thank you validators. Thank you so much.
Alright. So, habang nandito po ang ating mga speakers, gusto po ipakita ang ating pong slide for the breakout session. Ayan, kitang-kita si Ma'am Jovi sa likod, ni Ma'am Ruby. Hi, Ma'am Jovi.
Ma'am Jovi, say hi.
So, sa atin pong mga participants, ang SDO Mandaluyong po ay naniniwala for continuous improvement. Kaya po maglalabas po kami ng Quality Assurance Measurement and Evaluation Survey for you to rate our performance this morning and this afternoon. So ilalabas po yan ng ating Senior Education Program Specialist for MNE, Mr. Crispin Menica, Schools Governance and Operations Department. And then, as instructed po, magkakaroon po ng breakout session per learning area. At ito po ang mga moderators, facilitators, nag-create ng link po, ng Google Meet link per learning area. I think, kailangan lang po pumasok sa Google Meet link po ay yung mga writers, validators na part po ng learning area na yun. So, for English, it is Mr. Joseph Mejica of Bonifacio Pierre. For Mathematics, Ms. Lovie Kempisao of Pedro P. Cruz. For Science, Ms. Raldo Fabriag of Isaac Lopez. For Filipino, Mr. Valentin Sagun of Pleasant Hills. For AP, Mr. Ryan Medina of MPNAG. For TLE, Ms. Dorothy Reyes of Abis. For MAPE, si Sir Rex na po agad ang magko-coordinate po sa inyo. For ESP and ALS, Mr. Willie Diaz, our education program specialist for ALS. And for Kinder, we have Miss Julie Ann Camu. So sa kanila niyo po itanong ang link. Hindi ko po ipapublish dito yung link. Baka po may mag-gate crash sa session po ninyo at may pumasok na hindi naman.
Gate crash talaga.
So this is only for the writers and the validators.
What time, JD?
Okay.
Now na.
Ma'am Aline?
Yes.
Now na po.
I think as the EPS of the learning area po, kayo na po makikipag-coordinate. Tama po, Ma'am Aline, regarding the time.
Yes, okay. Others
Ngayon
are
na po,
asking
ma'am.
after lunch break, but then others also wanted to have it immediately after the flashing of
Yes,
or
ma'am. Ngayon na
in
po.
the Google Meet. Well, anyway, I hope nag-message ako sa kanila. They are taking their snacks while watching or listening the session. Ang mga siguro 15 to 20 minutes the most ang ating session for the breakout session. So we can encourage them to depart, immediately after this para matapos na tayo. Kasi we have our meeting, emergency meeting after the session, mga at around 2:30 for all CID. Okay po? Sige. So, please coordinate ang katulad kay Ma'am Fe, ano siya, na right after, they will have their breakout session na. So, if you have any concerns sa mga supervisors, additional announcement, maybe they can have it independently siguro na lang. Okay. How about the math, Sir Resty? Right immediately?
12:30 po kami, ma'am. Nag-message na ako. 12:30.
12:30, Sir Rambel.
Now.
Now.
Ngayon
Science.
na po, after that.
Magla-lunch po muna, ma'am.
What time? What time?
Na naman.
1 p.m. actually po yung sinabi ko.
1 p.m. Okay, so please coordinate na lang to your respective education program supervisor. Okay, so thank you.
Alright,
Okay,
so
now.
again po, sa po mga viewers, just coordinate with your respective EPSs para po sa time po ng inyong breakout session. Okay, so again, pasok ko lang po si Sir Jet ulit. Sir Jet, pasalamatan natin ang ating apat.
So maraming salamat sa apat nating mga galing na mga education program supervisors. Saludo po kami sa inyo. And thank you for giving us another milestone of knowledge on module writing. And sa lahat ng ating mga teachers, good luck po. Ito ay sama-samang effort ng buong SDO Mandaluyong, and happy writing. Happy writing.
Thank you. So, may wala ako. May last message. Last message lang. Last message.
Sige, sir.
Thank you,
In the
Sir
service,
Rampal, Ma'am Panita,
in the
Ma'am
service of
Roxanne,
the
and Sir
Filipino
Steve.
people. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Channel 2.
Thank you,
Sir
everyone.
Bye-bye.
Salamat.
Mag-wave na kayo. Bye-bye.
Salamat.
Salamat po.